Hello, this is Thor, and welcome to another episode of Vibe Coding, I guess. So today's video is on a project I made in the last 3 days. This one is Tap T. It stands for Thor Automated Paper Trader. What it does is it talks to Alpaca, which is an online paper trading and live trading brokerage. You can get an account for free to set up your own little account. And if it works, you can, fund it with real money. So I guess to start, you would set up your API keys in this window. You get an Alpaca API and a secret key, and then you also get an Alpha Vantage API key. And I think you're allowed to get this one with the Alpaca account. I don't remember having to set up a separate Alpha Vantage account. But this one is rate limited. So Alpaca's, that is responsible for calling stock price, balances, the technicals. But the Alpha Vantage is for aggregating the news. And you can only do 25 calls per day. So sort of what that means is when this is all set up and it uses a local model, um, local large language model plus technical analysis and news sentiment with to come and make a decision on stock moves and option moves. So once you've got the API set up, it won't automatically be populated with these securities. You'll just have 100,000, and most of that'll just be solid zeros. Pretty nice. But to get securities in there, you'll go to trading and open the manage securities window. And here's where you put the ones that you want to analyze and basically manage in this program. It's pretty easy to add them. You would just go down here to the ticker, and for example, you could put VOO for Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF. And if you just put the ticker in and validate it, it'll go ahead and add the name, the default weights, and whether the large language model can affect the score, when it wants to buy, when it wants to exit, and how much of it will take up the total portfolio. So that's 15% right there. And so you'll add all your securities. And you'll want to have stock automation and options automation turned on when you want it to make actions from the automated scheduler runs. You can leave them unchecked and also leave under analysis, allow Alpaca paper orders unchecked if you just want it to generate logs without making any actions. But if you want it to make actions, leave that checked and make sure those are all checked for each security. So each security has its own different buy thresholds and weights, and so certain ones can be turned off for when full analysis is done. So under analysis, well, and in the main window, you can choose any of the ones that are in your managed, and it'll show you the current price. And you can run a single analysis on one security just by running that. And it takes a little bit because a local model, has to use cheaper hardware than what's available to ChatGPT. So it's interesting. You'll see it bump up the GPU usage while it's taking a look, and it'll drop back down. So it's telling me to hold, don't do anything. Let's see. I think it didn't get news because, like I said, it's rate limited, and I believe it's past 12 hours from the last news call, so it just didn't get anything. And in here, it'll show you the log that it generated under analysis. It'll show you pretty easy to read how it came to its decision, and but the thing that really makes it more automated is that you can also analyze all securities. So I could run that right now, but basically the same option is under the automation schedule window. And in here, I have one job that gets run in the morning that will analyze all securities plus all of the potential options that could be taken, and review the current open options for whether they need to be rolled, exited, or so on and so forth. And so we can run that. This will run the full analysis. We don't have to leave the scheduler window open. It'll just send the task back to the main GUI. And, I said it takes around 30 seconds per one. It's going to go ahead and pull the technicals and do its deterministic check purely on technicals, but then also pass that to the large language model for a second opinion. And while that runs, I'll show you the other little things that sort of make this program feel complete, and that's that it's got an about screen. Just basically what this program is. Not only that, but it's got a help menu. So, tells you about it, tells you how to set it up, tells you, more about how to set it up, tells you where the credentials are stored, tells you what all the labels and buttons mean, tells you how to set the securities and what the weights are, all that stuff, and what the scores and weights are based off of, and whether Analyze or Analyze All is run. You can manually stock trade to enter positions. You just select one of the managed ones, how many shares you want. You can buy or sell or close entire position. If you wanted to manually sort of run analyses just for options, there's also an options trading window. And right now I've got one option for CRISPR, and it's not doing very well. And I guarantee that if I run the Analyze Manage Open Positions, it's going to take a look at CRISPR and probably tell me to either dump it or roll it. So it's going to take a little second because it's already running the Tesla analysis down here, and now it's trying to analyze. There you go. So here it says, roll. Here's the implied volatility, the delta, and the expiry, and here's how it came to the decision. And this all goes into the historical logs. So I've been testing this thing all day. It's got a whole bunch of logs. And so all of these are referenceable, and you could, over time, analyze your strategy and or weights and see what could be improved, and essentially do big data analysis, because you're going to get a lot of data over time where it would have been otherwise pretty hard to aggregate it this way. So yeah, pretty cool. And you can also analyze all options. You can run a single options analysis for which underlying. And so when it runs the full analysis, you'll see the results come up. So under the stocks, it's saying, get rid of CRISPR. It's not doing well. Shouldn't have bought it. There's no position for gold. It looks like it would have held it if it could have. And there's also another tab for the options it checked over. Yep, it wants to roll CRISPR, and it doesn't recommend doing anything else. Tesla is currently in a downward trend, so these are valid assessments. Whether or not they're accurate or useful is a different question, but the data is being aggregated here and processed accordingly. So that's basically this project. Just a fun little paper trading dashboard that will be kind of fun, because I can just let this run every morning and make its own decisions and see if it's any better than that video on YouTube where they let the goldfish trade stocks based off of its position in the tank. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.